got another episode of Real Raw Exchange Podcast. My name is Frank, and can I get my co-host to introduce herself?
Hey y'all, this is Nat.
All right, so I apologize. Just let y'all know I'm kind of first time using software in reference to the different windows and everything. But I'm gonna get to it as far as being able to use it properly. Have myself a little bit bigger so y'all can see my beautiful face a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Y'all definitely can see Nat's beautiful face, of course. But it comes down to her beautiful face just showing just all bright and whatnot. Nevertheless, so for today. We are going to talk about what I will now dub her the TikTok therapist. Okay? Yeah, the TikTok therapist. There's this black woman by the name of Shabri Rawls. Shabri Rawls, who ended up she ended up doing a TikTok reaction video to someone else, bringing up the particular article that you all see here as far as our recording. And she brought up this article in reference to kind of agreeing with a previous or agreeing with another TikToker influencer in reference to how this article kind of speaks volumes as far as men, the rise of lonely men, and single men, lonely single men, being on the rise in reference to the particular key points that they have here. Now, when it comes down to the key points here, it says dating opportunities for heterosexual men are diminishing as relationship standards rise. Okay. And then it says men represent approximately 62% of dating app users, lowering their chances for matches. I don't necessarily know about that, but I'm going to go ahead and continue on when it comes down to, getting to the third point. Men need to address skills deficits to meet healthier relationship expectations. Okay? Now, I'll read this article, at least the key points. I'm not going to go through the whole article because that's going to take too much time. Okay? The main point of this episode is to get into the videos that this TikTok therapist has gone viral on, okay, in reference to her speaking more specifically on how black men, of course, are within the category of essentially, being lonely, being single, and not acquiring the emotional intelligence to be in relationships, and how pretty much black men, are not being chosen by black women in reference to being in healthy relationships because black women are just not putting up with it. Nevertheless, I'm gonna go ahead and get to one of the videos, the original video that she ended up becoming viral on, and then we're gonna go into another video, and then the rest of the videos when it comes down to us talking about this TikToker. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play the first video, which is about 59 seconds.
A couple days ago, Psychology Today released this article about the rise of lonely single men.
Please, with all your spirit gusto, go click back on that video. I've been telling y'all motherfuckers that y'all are going to be single for the rest of your fucking life if you do not increase your emotional communication skills, emotional intelligence, or any of these things. The Psychology Today article that my good sis is referencing is nothing but proof that these podcast alpha male bullshit ass father issue heaven ass motherfuckers is forcing y'all to a lifetime of singleness. I keep seeing on this bullshit ass app that women have these poor attitudes and all this other bullshit when men truly just need to extend their emotional vocabulary so they can flourish and have meaningful, healthy relationships. But instead, y'all listening to these Kevin Samuel ass motherfuckers and it's leaving you 50 and alone. Fix it.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and get my take on the first video, and then we'll go into the second one. Or for that matter, can we give our take on the first video, and then we'll go into the second one? Okay. Huh. First off, one thing I'll say is there are certain things about, feminism that I believe are valid, but there's certain things that I believe about feminism that I believe is bullshit. There are certain things about red pill that I do believe is valid, but there are certain things about red pill that I do believe is bullshit. Okay? You will never hear me say that I'm a feminist. You know? You will never hear me say that I'm red pill. You know? But there are particular things when it comes down to both arguments or both positions that I definitely understand, and also, delving into data and also history in reference to certain things happening as far as pivotal events, which, you know, ended up creating the inception for a certain way of thinking or a certain ideology. All right. Now, with me saying that, I don't believe that Kevin Samuels, to put out there when it comes down to one big red pillar, I don't believe Kevin Samuels, as far as his approach on everything, was of a good approach. We even have a video out there when it comes down to narcissistic traits of black men and black women, right? But also in turn, you also using same tactics in reference to how some red pillars may talk, on a very far back and forth spectrum, where you may have some red pillars that will initially not insult the person that they're addressing, but then once they become insulted, will eventually insult them. But then you have some red pillars that will start off with insults and shame and all of the particular things that, of course, Kevin Samuels has specified in reference to, different forms of what I like to call deflection and dismissiveness. Different forms of deflection and dismissiveness. In this first video, immediately there are insults. Immediately. That's the first thing that, I'm listening to. But then also I have to filter out those insults in reference to the passion that she does have, as far as her one saying, okay, you do have women out there, when it comes down to needing to change their behavior, where she did hold women accountable as far as that, but then the but inevitably negates what you said in the former and only reinforces the latter of now saying that men are more so the one with the problem in reference to how they're not able to attain a certain level of emotional intelligence, when in actuality certain levels of emotional intelligence are on both sides that need to be groomed in a certain way, where two people can come together on one accord, love each other, care about each other, and be within the sense of a foundational union. So for me, as far as this video, in my personal opinion, I could understand why this TikToker got fired. I could understand it, especially with her being a licensed therapist. Some of these guys out here, they're not licensed. They will specify they're not licensed. But also in turn, they also will let people know exactly what they think. The difference is, with you being licensed, Miss Rawls, with you being licensed, you have more of a sense of responsibility when it comes down to what you say out of your mouth. That's my take on this first video. What you think, Nat?
I think that this is going to be the first time where you and I sit on the opposite ends of the table.
Complete opposite? Complete opposite?
Not complete opposite. Not
Okay.
complete opposite. With the first video, with this video, I heard so I'm glad you played it, because I didn't hear that beginning, but I did hear the I guess after the beginning. I think that I don't disagree with a lot of what she said. I don't necessarily like the approach, kind of like kind of like Kevin Samuels, I think that she could have, or some people would have appreciated, especially those with like, um, I think that some people would have appreciated a different type of delivery, right? But I don't think that she, first of all, I don't think that she was thinking about her job and her career when she
She
when she
definitely wasn't.
came out and did
She
this.
definitely wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
So this was something that she read from the Psychology Today, and she wanted to give her take on it, not forethinking about how this could impact her, and the work she does, right? I don't think that what she's saying is entirely untrue. Um,
I I don't think that either.
yeah,
I don't think that
yeah,
either. I'm just put that out there, but go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. But I do think now one thing that kind of caught my attention is when she mentioned emotional vocabulary. Did she say that in this one?
Emotional vocabulary.
Okay,
Yeah. Hmm.
right. But then when she went on to explain what she was saying, I was like, maybe she means emotional expression, because if you're talking about communication, I
Hmm.
kind of categorize these different ways, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think that emotional intelligence is the same as emotional vocabulary, and is the same as expressing how you feel emotionally. To
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
to me, all three of those are
Or
are
different.
different, and I feel like that they. I just feel like she kind of could have turned it differently, or I guess said it a different way. But like I said, I don't totally think that what she said is untrue. I think that she probably should have thought about what she was gonna say before she said it,
Key points.
and
Yeah.
that wouldn't have given her so much flack. That's what I think, because people in the comment section took this and ate it up. Like there were people like for her, that who supported her. Then there were a lot that just didn't, right? And I don't know what happened as far as, well, I know why she got fired, but I just feel like as a licensed anything, as a licensed doctor, as a licensed therapist, if you are a licensed clinician, and you and you specialize in, I don't know, like relationships, or if like whatever your specialization is, and you feel the need to post a video on a worldwide social media platform, everybody's going to see this, right? You need to really think about your actions before you do it, whether you feel passionate about something or not. Um, with the article you read at first about the why black men feel, or why men, I'm sorry, it wasn't specified
Yeah.
to
It
was
wasn't
black men, right?
specified. Right. Right.
Right. So why men feel lonely. I can, on the dating app thing, I have been on dating apps, right? And I think, I don't know, I want to challenge that 62%. And I only say that because I find, at least on my end, and those of you who've ever been on a dating app, that the dating app is usually, you can sign in or register as, per whatever your gender is, right? So and then you can get a chance to see how many men there are if you register as a female, and vice versa. I mean, I challenge it because it always seems like there's much more women on the dating apps than men. And so, and I know I'm speaking from personal experience because I've seen it, and I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. So I think that there's some that there's some disproportionate going on there, but I don't, yeah, I would challenge the percentage of men on dating apps, and I could be wrong, y'all. I don't know what the statistics show.
Here.
I just don't know if I think it's 62%. That's pretty high of a
Yeah. I don't. I
of,
don't. I don't think it's
of a number.
60. I don't think it's 62% either. And the
Mhm.
reason why I say that I don't think it's 62% because if we think about, you know, the amount of men in this world and the amount of women in this world, right? If we
Right.
honestly think about that, there are certain social media apps or certain apps that more so, end up catering to making sure bringing more women on said platform, as a consumer base because
Right.
women are the number one consumers.
Yeah.
You know, and then you also have to think about the amount of men in this role and the amount of women in this role. You know, we could say depending on the country, you know, women outnumber men at least 5 to 1 or even 7 to 1. I would think it'd be 5 to 1 now because obviously we've gone through a pandemic. You know, certain things have happened. You know, when it comes down to the amount of people on the face of the earth, you know, passing away, so on and so forth, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you know, now we about to go through monkeypox. You know what I'm saying? We already see people, you know what I'm saying, bulging up when it comes down to the spots on their face and on their bodies, right? So for me, I would say 5 to 1. Women outnumber men 5 to 1, but then you also have women that are the primary, you know, consumers on the face of the earth when it comes down to a larger percentage. So they have to think in a sense of a very gynocentric way of thinking to be able to get consumers to delve into a product. So to say that when it comes down to dating apps as a whole, that you have the consumer base being more men than women, but then also in turn, if we look at it from the perspective of hypergamy, and I'm gonna bring it up. If we look from the perspective of hypergamy, right? More so, you have more women that are going toward trying to get men from that 20% when it comes down to, you know, the big aspects of what women look for in men from a heterosexual standpoint. What women look for in men from a heterosexual standpoint. You have one third of men that have not had sex in a year, let alone, you know, had sex at all, that are virgins. So to say that it's at least over 60%, you know, and when it comes down to men and women, put it in the cheating standpoint, you know, as far as cheating, being able to cheat on one another or what may have you, you know, men based on their ratio cheat at, you know, a percentage of 28%. Women based on their ratio, which is larger than men, cheat at a percentage of 24%. So when it comes down to percentages, when it comes down to mass, you know, there are more women that are cheating than men, but the percentage as far as ratio, men cheat more by 4%.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I don't necessarily believe, which I'm about to go into my other point, when it comes down to this article is one, disingenuous when it comes down to percentage, in addition to being disingenuous when it comes down to the actual title. Where you have this article, and I'm about to bring up another article, you have this article when it comes down to saying the rise of lonely, you know, single men need to address their deficits to meet healthier relationship expectations. In my personal opinion, I believe both men and women should be doing that. But nevertheless, they wrote this article, or, you know, this guy by the name of Greg Matos wrote this article, you know, August 9th of 2022. He wrote this article this month, beginning of this month, right? But then you have another, you know, therapist by the name of Bella DePaulo, you know, both of them PhDs, right? Or, you know, doctors, right? Who wrote another article, and that was published by, you know, Psychology Today, that specifies the strategic singlehood of black women.
Mm-hmm.
That's really disingenuous to me. How are you going to have one particular platform on one end, you know, pushing to hold men accountable as a whole, let alone black men accountable for them increasing their level of, you know, emotional intelligence, emotional, you know, whatever quotient. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to have men, or use an article where men should be doing that, or that's the focus when it comes down to people delving into that article, but then have another article where it says, well, you know, by large, you know, black women, you know, have, you know, a strategy when it comes down to being single. And it's not holding black women accountable when it comes down to this article in reference to them actually understanding also what they are, deficit in reference to the aspect of being able to understand men, whereas what men are deficit on when it comes down to also being able to understand women. That's why I feel like it's disingenuous to me, and it's more so clickbait to not hold women accountable, but completely hold men accountable for being shitty, which is just a normal occurrence within this world, in reference to more so wanting to have consumers that is the main consumer base as far as women. What you think?
Yeah, I think both articles are very different. You have the single, what was it called? I mean, I'm sorry, what was
If they
the
say
name of it?
strategic singlehood for
Thank
of
you. You
black
have
women.
the strategic, yeah, thank you. You have that article that talks more about women and why they're single.
Right.
Um, and then you have the article, where it talks about, men and it talks about why they're single, but it pinpoints or it points out, what they're, what they basically are missing or what they need to do or in order to, have healthier relationships. And as far as the skills deficits, I mean, I think that falls on both genders. I mean, I think that it's I think, you know, whether you're talking about social skills, I just think it's important that both genders understand how to interact and how to, socially be with someone else other than themselves. I think that's really what it boils down to, and I think that's yeah.
Yeah,
Go
like
ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but when you say that, the biggest thing that I think is the issue when it comes down to men and women, of course, we're talking about heterosexual relationships. When it comes down to men and women being able to come together, the biggest issue is men and women don't understand men and women.
Yeah, I mean that is the ultimate gap, and what would help close the gap if each would take out the time to actually figure out what figure out how to make it work, and that's when you have like this huge um pot of like I don't feel like taking out time to figure out, how I can, be the right person or add value or whatever you want to, however you want to word that. But that's where the gap is. That's the disconnect. I don't know. And as far as what she's talking about, I don't think that people in relationships understand the importance of, you know what? I don't even want to say that because I wrote down notes while she was talking. But since we're gonna get into some of her other videos,
Yeah,
I'll say what I'm gonna say for that because I feel like she's gonna touch
she
on some other stuff. And what I wanted to mention, I think she's gonna kind of touch on it in her other video,
okay.
if I'm right.
Yeah,
So
like
I'll save it for that.
yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna now go ahead and go into the video that is going to be
Okay.
her reaction to her, essentially getting dimed out by, a peer maybe, fellow clinician. You know what I'm saying? Um, where the caption in the video, if you can see, the caption in the video says, "How I got fired as a therapist, telling people to go to therapy." Where my thing is, it's not just you told people to go to therapy. It's not just that. It's the whole approach in how you did it. Like, and you're licensed. But nevertheless,
And I mean, that's just something else that I want to touch on. I don't believe that everybody needs therapy. I'm sorry. I'm not one of those people that think that because I've been watching, again, y'all, I've been watching Kendra G. Okay. And y'all, she entertaining. But
we
it's
should do a
all,
reaction video with Kendra D, some of Kendra D stuff.
I'm telling you. So Kendra states that, look, I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not, this. I'm just a host. You come on here to meet somebody, and who you meet, I'm not liable for who you meet or whatever. But it's interesting that she mentions in her, sometimes she mentions, and I think it's a little bit too often, one of her questions is, have you ever, been to therapy, or have you ever considered therapy? I, I, I get bringing it up sometimes depending on, what the person says, and, what they're looking for and what they've been through in their past. But I just don't believe in telling someone, like, just straight out, look, you need therapy. You can't tell that person they need therapy. And I think sometimes therapy can do more hurt than good, depending on, to to go to therapy. I think that you really have to know what you're going to therapy for. And I say that for, I mean, really have a
clear focus on what you need,
what you
from the
need
therapy.
help with.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, the therapist has to figure that shit out. Okay. And whatever method that they're going to use to figure out what problem they can help you with, they may be able to help you with it. They may not, or they may be able to help you with the problem that you didn't even know you had. But whatever it is, I don't think that everybody needs therapy. I think that some people just need to sit down and figure their life out for themselves.
Here,
I don't think that everybody needs somebody to come in as a mediator or as a third party and say, hey, I think therapy helps some people. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying nobody needs therapy. I'm not saying therapy is not effective. It is, but I think that if you know what you need to work on, if you know what you will not need to, if you know what you want to work on, if you know things that you want to improve into, in your life, especially like in relationships, um, I would say know what you want, right? And because if you don't, I just think it's just not going to be like in your best interest to go to therapy.
here's my big thing when it comes down to therapy. My thing is, first off, what you said, Nat, the person that needs to go, they have, gotten that epiphany, what I'm saying, from self reflection, what may have you. The person that needs to go,
Yeah.
they need to know exactly why they're going. However, the therapist that they are going to, I question the intentions of how they're going to utilize, whatever particular methods in reference to being able to help the person
Oh,
that needs to go.
absolutely. Absolutely. They're getting paid. And most of them get paid per client.
And most of them
Okay.
get paid by the time, by the amount of
Yes.
time.
So
Also,
that's why I'm like, you have like know what you're going there for. And in some instances you have to look, I can go, y'all. Know what you're going to therapy for. Because some of these therapists out here are just like your doc. Now, your doctors, y'all, are going to get paid regardless. Okay, they're going to get their coin regardless.
facts.
Therapists, I'm not saying that they're not, but most times they're working for, or at a therapy center or some type of, sometimes like a crisis center or maybe like a therapy office where they are paid based on the number of clients that they bring in. Like Frank said, by the time, some of them charge by the hour or half hour, and they're not playing about their coins. Okay. And let's also put this out there that a lot of these therapy is not considered a part of conventional,
Medicine.
medicine. It is holistic treatment. Most insurance companies do not pay for therapy.
Here's another thing.
So you think about that.
I'm gonna put this out there. So it only becomes something that could potentially be a liability to you if you now have to see a psychiatrist that now has to prescribe medication for you.
Right.
That's
now
the only time it now becomes, oh, this is something that can actually change your mental composition for you to now act a certain way, where maybe the medication that you're prescribed doesn't necessarily work for you, or may not work in the right way for you. So you have to be careful with that. Where my whole thing is the organic ability to self-reflect and actively, either on your own or with minimal help by a physician or clinician,
right,
actively find out the ways in which you, doesn't matter if you're a man, doesn't matter if you're a woman, you need to now dig deep and apply certain concepts in your life so you're not reinforcing a self-identification with certain trauma that inevitably is not helping you to grow as a person, let alone be able to grow in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
And she kind of said something like that. Like I didn't hear that part when I was going through the clips when she said y'all fatherless or father having issues or something like that.
It was an insult though. The way in which she said
it. Oh yeah, right.
The way in which she said it is not necessarily going to be heard. However, yes, that does happen in reference to certain sons having issues with their fathers.
Right.
But the intent behind her saying it was to have it as a punch of an insult because it's something that she probably has gone over with some of her clients that obviously obviously now she doesn't fucking have because she did all this shit. You know?
Yeah.
So let's get into the other video when it came down to her reaction to getting dimed out.
Well, hello. It's your friendly neighborhood therapist who thought she could save these hoes, but got her job terminated as a result. Story time? I think yes. Shit you not, I posted a video on Monday telling men that their dusty behavior is only harming them and that they would benefit from emotional intelligence, and I shit you not, by Friday, didn't have employment. All of this started with a Psychology Today article stating that men are lonelier than ever because they have no fucking emotional skills. And I agreed and doubled down and told y'all that y'all lives would radically improve if you expanded the shit that came out your mouth. But instead of healing, y'all will do anything but that. Instead of being accountable like, hey, this bitch see me, and stirred a little bit, y'all got so hurt that you contacted massa. That's exactly what happened. So first the post goes viral on Twitter. Cause y'all need fucking help. And y'all wanted to argue with bitches blue till they fucking blue in the face. Some of you hoes is not gonna be saved. And that's the conclusion that I've come to. So because this shit's gone viral, I'm thinking, okay, cool, we starting a discussion on mental health and you might not like my fucking delivery, but motherfuckers is starting to talk, you know, shaking the tables, I don't give a fuck. But then it turns into this entire crusade of attacking a black woman who serves the fucking black community. There were comments like, I'm gonna find her credentials and report her, cause I told y'all to be better? Yeah, y'all are fucking weird. Y'all scream that y'all want to protect women, protect black women specifically, but have done nothing to protect this black woman who has been serving the communities. I have been violated in several areas, and I'm gonna outline each one. This article was written by a fucking black woman, putting my full government and my place of employment. So being doxxed by a black woman, can't fake, kind of fucking hurts.
Oh, wait a minute. Time out. So there's another article that was put out on August 16, 2022. Black America responds, therapist who scolds black for not going to therapy. Black woman, I would think. Okay, so I think we need to look up that article. Nevertheless, that's, I guess, the other clinician who ended up, putting out the article that inevitably got, her fired. So, yeah.
Okay, so that was my question. So the person who got her fired was also the author of that first article?
So here's the thing. So it says.
Is that what happened?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on real quick. So it says, written by Ishika N. Harrison. Okay, the first article was the rise of lonely. No. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me scroll. Just to double check. No, the author of the original article was Greg Matos. He has his doctorate in psychology. Is a board certified couple and family psychologist who posts articles on psychology.com. That was the first article. The article that she's talking about, when it comes down to her getting fired, was another article that was put out in reference to well, okay, Black America responds to therapists who scolds black men for not going to therapy. That's a different article. That's a totally different article that she put out in reference to her scolding, you know, essentially using shame and insults. When it came down to, you know, video, I'm gonna still specify that because it literally is that. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish the video. All right.
And she never once reached out to me or contacted me so I could spin my side of the story. This is the article that spooked my fucking job and got me fired.
Okay.
Not only does she not have any regard for my safety, many other articles have been written as a result. Here are a few of them, just to name a few. Black Twitter has words for therapists scolding men to go to fucking therapy.
Okay, so
here's my other thing. Is she okay? Now I feel like it's kind of all over the place at this point. So I thought that we were initially talking about black men getting their emotional, you know, intelligence in check, and now it feels like we're talking about black men need to go to therapy.
So essentially, it's that.
I mean,
essentially, it's black men need to go to therapy, but also with them going to therapy, it helps them to be able to understand them getting their emotional intelligence and, you know, emotional vocabulary, you know, in check. So they're able to speak. I take it like this: they're able to speak to their significant other, which is a woman, when it comes down to being able to understand her emotional state in reference to how they need to communicate, which is a very, in my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion, is a very gynocentric approach. Even though I agree with it, but it doesn't get to the perspective of also the woman understanding the man too, biologically. It doesn't get to that. That obviously is one-sided. I understand it though, but it's still one-sided though. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna continue the video. All right.
Y'all attacked me and got mad at me because I wanted better for y'all. That's the most crab in the barrel bucket type bullshit I've ever heard in my fucking life. A plethora of black men decided to take it upon themselves to call my employment to get me fired.
Hold on, pause. What you think about her saying the crab in the barrel part? Nah. Go ahead. What you got?
I mean, I'm struggling because I feel I don't think what she said. First of all, I can understand why. I'm wondering if only black men called to demand, you know, to get her fired.
I don't think so either. I don't think so.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think she's only putting the black men out there.
I think that's a reach. I think that's a reach because she, in my personal opinion, I'm gonna just say it like this because it's the way I'm thinking about it. She's being emotional right now, where she did hold the black woman who wrote the article accountable, but it then went straight to all of these other articles, and now she's about to go in when it comes down to what would be considered the manosphere or the red pill community, but, you know, specifying it in a certain way in reference to them, you know, scolding her now for what she did. You know, that's what I think she's about to go into, but I could be wrong. Nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and start the video again. All right?
You succeeded, but you succeeded in not the way that you think. If it's one thing about black women is that we're incredibly resilient. This just cleared the table to give me space and opportunity to educate the masses while shaking our asses to healing because y'all got mad because I wanted you to do better.
All right. Did it really have to have the shaking ass twerking part?
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say I am really trying to be on your side, Miss Rawls. I'm trying to, because I get where she's coming from. You know, I get it. I'm not in disagreement with everything she's saying. But then when you talk about the shaking of the ass, I'm like, wait a minute, where did that come from? But this is a prime example of she is in a very emotional state right now. First of all, she's upset. She lost her job. She pissed at all the black men who got her job or whatever. She mad at the therapist with the article. Her emotions are all over the place and they're not balanced. And once again, she's put out a video without thinking, without rationalizing everything. And now she's kind of really, I don't know where the shaking of the ass came from.
She on autopilot. She's like sitting in the chair right now, and the plane could be just doing a nosedive, and she's just like this, looking at the other co-pilot, like, so what we gonna do? Like, I'm just saying.
Well, now she's in a state where she's like, look, I don't have no job, so I can really say
whatever I want to say
now. That's what she said. She said, fuck that. Y'all want to get me fired? I'm going to say what I really want to say, or how I really feel now, because she's upset. But I think I don't want to sit here and say that I think that she's creating like I don't think that this is like a gender war concept. I'm just saying, I just think that she is a little impulsive about her posts. I feel like she really needs to think about what she's gonna say. But do I think she was genuinely trying to help black men and telling them that, look, go to therapy, get help to learn how to better, communicate and, express yourself in your relationship? I don't think that she meant bad, right? I just think that her delivery was whack. And I do. I think her delivery was like pure shit. Right. So nobody's gonna hear you. Like nobody's gonna hear you. It doesn't even matter what you're saying right now because you've already put out, no, nobody's gonna hear you. Right? So that's where I think she just went wrong off the break. I think that had she approached this from her clinical background, and just as she's telling men in her videos, look, you guys need to have emotional vocabulary to be able to express yourselves and communicate within your relationship. Hey, that same thing goes as a therapist or as anyone who's communicating with everybody on social media. If you want someone to, listen to what the fuck you're saying, then you need to know how to communicate with your audience. And I think I just don't understand where the miscommunication in that was. But that's what I think is going on right now. I just that's what I think about that.
All right, so I'm okay. We got I think a couple more seconds.
I was told they consulted with shareholders and decided to terminate my contract because I told y'all to go to therapy. That's the world we live in.
All right.
Wait. What did she say? She said that they terminated her contract because she told...
I was told they consulted with shareholders and decided to terminate my contract because I told y'all to go to therapy.
That's what I was saying. You can't tell people who gives, even as a licensed therapist, if you're not individually, speaking or assessing someone based on that person and what they need, you can't get on social media telling people to tell all the black men that all y'all black ass need to go to therapy.
You know what I'm saying?
You can't say that. So that's where I think, I'm like, what's going on? You can't say that to all of them. I can see if a few of them got into your DM and they, said something to you. That's a little different, But you can't get on social media and say, look, all y'all black men need to go to therapy because all of y'all collectively have an issue with communicating in your relationship. It was not very general for what she said. It's almost like she wanted to make it seem like it was the black
geared to
men.
All black men. But then, here's my thing. I genuinely believe she
wasn't men. I'm sorry, y'all. Was she targeting black men specifically or just men?
She is. I'm going to just say she is. Because in the next videos, it's going to be more. Because, obviously in this video she has, but then in the next videos, we got, how many videos we got left? We got 6 other videos left.
6 or 7, yeah.
We got 6 other videos left. So we about to go in. All right. let's get to this next video. So this next video, she's responding to a post or a comment that someone made. So off on this one, sis. I usually rock with you, but this isn't the lead reason why older men are single. But hey, go off. Okay, she's responding to a comment. All right.
I think I know what comment you're talking about, but go ahead.
She's responding to a comment. I think this is the video where she twerks the most. I don't know. All right, let's go. Let's go in.
It appears a man has entered the chat. And you're wrong. Let's explore why. So let's see what we got here. So off on this one. I usually rock with you, but this isn't the lead reason why older men are single. But hey, go off. I'm gonna go off. You know, since you asked so nicely, I'm gonna go.
She is twerking right now.
Wait, I didn't see. So that's not the comment that I saw.
She's twerking right now. She's twerking. All right, let's
go. You know what's weird is that I bet you that this whole thing has blown up. She has gone viral. Somebody is going to have her on the Steve Harvey show. Y'all, this is not the last of Ms. Rawls. Y'all, we have just made her famous, okay? Famous. I just want to go ahead and say that. So if you see her on Steve Harvey, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
We about to see her on some primetime television show. You know what I'm saying?
Tamron, The View. She's gonna be on one of those.
She's gonna be
The View. That's a good.
Oh man! All right, let me scratch back a little bit. You know,
since you asked so nicely, I'm gonna go off. Men are so stubborn that even a Psychology Today article that is conducted by actual researchers, you still want to argue. These aren't my words. These are the articles of research. So despite actual statistics stating that men are actually the fuck alone because y'all...
Alright, I gotta say it. Her legs are mad ashy, young. Yeah, like...
Oh my God. Like, I don't think... I did not see that video.
Hey, her legs are mad ashy, son. Like, this is... Look, Mo, like, really though? Okay, I know she's doing what she needs to do in her own skin, but my whole thing is, if you're gonna twerk, you know what I'm saying, I'd rather see, I'd rather see, I'm gonna stop. Let's just let her go. Let's just let her go.
Y'all refuse to expand your emotional vocabulary because bitches are not dealing with y'all horse shit anymore. Even in an article, y'all are still not believing this. I have so many clients that are leaving their partners because they refuse to expand any part of themselves. This podcast culture has forced y'all to believe that treating women like shit is the answer to getting women.
Here's my thing. So
but that's a good one. That's a good one.
So here's the funny thing. I agree with what she just said, but then the previous comment that she made, when it comes down to going in as far as men, but then she just says clients that are not able to end up being with, their partners because they won't, actually grow or improve themselves. My whole thing is still only because you've now targeted men. Don't be convoluted and then now just saying clients, because when you say clients, you also have to talk about the female clients that you do have too.
Oh, but I think she's made it clear she's not talking about any female clients.
I'm just saying, it's like if you're going to go all in, don't switch it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking go all in. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, what you gonna say on the other one? I mean,
she said something to the effect of, she said, men, and I'm not quoting this. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she just said, men. That we've got caught up in like this podcast culture that, where I guess it shows that men who treats women wrong, I guess, or who
The
disrespects women.
aspect of the culture as far as essentially she's talking about the manosphere and red pill, essentially think it is okay to treat women like shit. You know what I'm saying? Treating women like shit. In my personal opinion, on the far end of the negative spectrum of it, I agree. I do agree.
Yeah.
However,
And I only say that because not for the podcast. I mean, I just think from the music aspect of it, like it's all like in the music. Well, if
well,
depending on what you're
let
listening
me
to.
let me let me say let me say this though. Let me say this though. If we're gonna talk about music, we also have to talk about the balance of how you have, you know what I'm saying, hip hop when it comes down to, bitches and hoes, you know what I'm saying, all that shit as far as hip hop, degrading women,
Different
sexism, all that
area
shit.
codes.
But then you
Area
also have to talk
codes.
about I don't want no
Oh,
scrub. A
oh.
scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. You know what I'm saying? We also
Woo!
got to talk about that.
Get out!
We also got to talk about, can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bills? Can you pay my auto bills? You see what I'm saying?
Then
We
we can chill. Yeah.
like it's
No, yeah. Yeah.
there's too much, and then mind you, going back to consumerism, the larger base of consumers are women. So women are delving in both of the cultures, thinking that it's okay. You know, like it's essentially it's like good point that she brought up. Good point. However, I know she's from the side of I just need to talk about my truth. You know what I'm saying? How I see shit. Which, in my personal opinion, the level of solipsism, only being able to think about from your perspective and can't think about outside perspectives of being able to be more nuanced when it comes down to your argument, or how you see shit, being very very solipsistic. That's what she's going in right now. She's on autopilot. You can't pull her back until, you know what I'm saying, you get on the fucking radio and be like, hey, look, let me tell you something. You got to come back right now. We don't know if you're going to crash. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's happening right now. Nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and continue.
And I'm here to tell you, bruh, that we're human beings and don't want to tolerate y'all fuck shit. I.e., we are okay with being childless and alone at the cost of your emotional abuse. We okay on that. Now, wait. You might be thinking, well, wait, I'm not abusive.
Say it again.
What did she say about being childless and
She
alone?
said, if, with y'all acting the way y'all do, you know what I'm saying, black women as a whole are okay with us, being childless, and alone
Okay.
to prevent, the emotional abuse. So that's what she said, essentially.
The definition of abuse is the intentional misuse of something. By you intentionally not taking your motherfucking ass to therapy and talking about all the things that plague you, you are neglecting your bitch.
Hold on, wait a minute. Time out. Time the fuck out. Let me run that back real quick. Just real quick.
And talking about all the things that plague you, you are neglecting your. By you intentionally not taking your definition of abuse is the intentional misuse of something. I'm not abusive. The definition of abuse is the intentional misuse of something.
The definition of abuse is the intentional misuse of something. Okay.
By you intentionally not taking your motherfucking ass to therapy and talking about all the things that plague you, you are neglecting your bitch. And she's not tolerating this shit no more.
Okay. Fair. What she said. Fair.
Right, yeah.
However, if that is the definition of abuse, then technically she's also being abusive right now. Because she is utilizing her knowledge on being a clinician in reference to now using it in a more abusive way to try to spark a push through shame and insults to get men, based on what she has seen, to do what she should have tried to get men to do when it comes down to the clients that she had. Nah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, what?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of with Twerky on this. I'm about to call her Twerky, y'all. That's her name, Twerky. Okay.
I get
I'm
what
gonna
she's
call her
saying
Twerky.
though. It's just my whole thing is I hold you
Yeah.
to another standard when you're a licensed clinician. When you've been
I
licensed in
mean, of
this shit.
course. I mean, of
I mean,
course.
and she
I
may
mean,
even lose
we
her
supposed
license.
to.
She may even lose her license when it comes down to this shit. She may lose it.
She might because she needs to stop. I think that she's putting her licensure in jeopardy by clearly advising people to go to therapy without even like having a personal or one-on-one consultation with them, or having them actually reach out to her and say, hey, I think I need therapy, or maybe court order or something like that. But you can't get on social media and say y'all need to go to therapy, y'all need to go to therapy. um yeah,
I'm just saying
that's what I think.
you can't get on social media and then be a licensed clinician and be calling black men dusty bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay, I
that's what
can't
I'm.
get over the whole bitch just thing, but I'm just gonna leave that there,
No, I'm
right
just
there,
saying
where it
it's
is.
like what? You know what? Let's continue. Let's continue.
You know what? I even pulled the article back up. I'm gonna read this because y'all seem to not know words. This literally says, I hear dating culture themes between women of the ages 25 and 45. They prefer men who are emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values. Y'all don't even know how to articulate your emotions. So how the fuck are you supposed to maintain a relationship? I.e., you can't. That's why you're single. Still not convinced, boo-boo? I got another one for you. Skills deficits. For men, this means a relationship skills gap that, if not addressed, i.e. in therapy, take y'all fucking asses to therapy, will likely lead to fewer dating opportunities, less patience for poor communication skills, and longer periods of being single. The problem for men is that emotional connection is the lifeblood of a healthy, long-term, loving relationship.
Let me say one more thing. Okay. I think with articles like this, because of how they're geared, which we've already acknowledged how disingenuous this article is, but then they wrote another article a while ago that is like more so reinforcing the pride in being single versus instilling a sense of shame and guilt when it comes down to being single. You know what I'm saying? Where one is about men, the other one is about women. The one that's about women is specifically geared toward black women in the sense of reinforcing singlehood, which is not going to help the black community because the black community is just going to fucking die off. You know? But then you have on the other side, well, loneliness, you know what I'm saying? Single, that more so is out of reinforcing guilt, for bad actions on the individual's part. That it's I think she's triggered. This article, the article triggers her in a certain way. And that's why she's acting the way she's acting. But then it could be other things that is triggering her, like foundationally, that she was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna just say what the fuck I want to say and go off the deep end. I'm gonna go off the deep end. This is what it is. It's
No, yeah. I just don't. You know, I listening to what she's saying. I just because I have personally experienced it, and she may be speaking from personal experience as opposed to speaking from professional
right. I
experience.
agree with that.
Because, and I think that could be one of the hiccups of why she shouldn't be on social media going off like this. Because, I mean, like I said in the beginning, I do not disagree with most of what she said. This is something I don't disagree with either. If she is talking about, if she's specifically targeting the men who do have an emotional disconnect when it comes to verbally expressing themselves or emotionally expressing themselves in a relationship with the person they're with, then I don't disagree with what she's saying. her delivery sucks, but I don't disagree necessarily about what she's saying. Do I think she's using, her professional, background as a vehicle to kind of give it to the people? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, she's doing that because she feels like she can, and she feels like she has the, the, I don't know, not the authority, but she just feels like she can do that. And she's doing it, and now she done lost her job. She done lost her job. So,
Yeah. Let's continue.
Emotional connection requires skills that families are still not consistently teaching their young boys. Y'all can learn this shit in therapy. That's why I keep telling y'all this shit. You wonder why older men go for younger women? Because older women are not tolerating y'all horse shit. But now we're seeing the gap closed even more. Y'all need to stop listening to these male podcasters who are sad that their dads didn't return with the milk. Go to therapy and talk about the shit that plagues you so you can have healthy relationships. Love you, Kang. Be well. It appears a man has entered the chat.
All right. Next video. Whew. All right, now the caption is thoughts on quote unquote struggle of with black men or BM with the black men.
Black men? Okay.
Yeah. So, oh boy. I just don't want her. I don't want her twerking anymore. I really don't. Like,
Come on, twerking.
I want to get something off my chest about the black man that thoroughly frustrates me. Can I do it? I'm gonna fucking do it anyway. You know, my favorite flavor of ice cream is hardworking black man, but I can't seem to find that flavor in the store no more. And I'm trying to figure out what the fuck why. In my experience, specifically when it comes to dating, black men just off top want bitches to submit, but provide nothing to submit to. Nowadays, y'all don't even have the education or credentials to be talking to a bitch.
Okay. I totally disagree with this point. I totally disagree with it because...
So I didn't hear that one. I think, but a lot of women are going. So when she adds in that, a lot of y'all don't have the necessary credentials and educational blah 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 to even approach me is what she's saying. She's automatically putting women on this level.
Pedestal.
And she feels like men who don't necessarily meet those requirements or don't have those things, why are you approaching me?
So here's my thing. This is one of the biggest things that is continually going to be a misconception about what men are looking for in women compared to what women are looking for in men. Okay? And I'm going to say this. When my wife met me, I didn't have my degrees. Mind you, we were dating when she met me, right? We weren't married. Before we got married, I got my degrees. But she didn't even fuck about me having degrees. You see what I'm saying? But mind you, I'm just using my personal experience, anecdotal. But the biggest thing that is the issue with this is most women this day and age are looking through the lens of how they would look through wanting to be able to gain a man from a lens as if they are the man themselves. And they're not. They're women. Men see women differently. But there's a reinforcing of, I'll give you an example, degrees. A man who, has a blue collar job can also be able to provide. He doesn't necessarily need fucking degrees. He can work and be able to have a business for himself. Where you have a good amount of women this day and age that honestly believe because they have degrees they are better than men. But then you have some women that understand, oh, this man still works for himself. He's still making a good wage. He doesn't have to pay anybody extra when it comes down to being at work. And he works for himself. He's getting more money in his pocket. That's still good. What the fuck does degrees have to do with, a man being a man? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that right there is a personal thing for her. And I say that because she obviously has a degree. She obviously has this life, blah, blah, blah. But here's where I think another disconnect is. So for a long time, right? So let's just go back for a second. A long time, women were not in the positions that they are now, right?
Yeah.
The modern day woman is now able to, work and have careers and, make as much money as men do, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So they are on this path of, okay, so I've accomplished this, or I have, now I have this. Again, y'all, I see this on the Kendra G show. But it's true. I'm also a woman, so I also get it. What I don't understand is that, no. Then you want, so now after you've accomplished all these things that you've done, whether you have a degree or started your own business, bought your own house, got your own car, now you want a man that already has those things because you want him to basically match you. It's kind of like, why would I want a man who's coming to the table with anything less than what I have, right?
Sure.
While I get that, I think the point is being missed of, and we kind of touched on this last time about complementarity.
Yeah.
I think that instead of focusing, if women and men both, because men do it too, if women, because I've heard men say, well, if I have this, she has to at least have this. But I have also heard men say on the show, I'm this, I work at this job, I make this amount of money. She doesn't have to work. If she wants to, it's fine, but she doesn't have to, right?
More men are saying the latter. More men are saying the latter, but they're.
I don't know. I don't know, Frank. I don't know. I think it's kind of like equal. I'm
okay,
telling you.
And
I think it's like equal.
If it is equal, then I would go as far as saying this. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say it. I believe most women this day and age end up gaining certain level of status because they have a lack of good faith in them meeting the man that they will want to match them or above one day because of hypergamy existing, which pushes them to become the men that they would want in their life, but they don't believe will happen.
Right. I remember, and this is just me, but I don't remember it ever being like this until, and maybe it was, but I remember that song by Neo, Independent Woman, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Jamie Foxx came out with something about gotta have her own or something like that. And you started to hear more music where the guys are like, look, if I have acquired whatever status I have, why shouldn't I be able to ask that in someone that wants to be a part of my life, right?
That was a ploy. That was a consumerism ploy or consumerism.
While it may have been, I still think it made an impact on decisions that that men wanted too. Like you have some men out here that don't want. Prime example. Okay, hear me out. Prime example. I was talking to somebody at one point. We never got into a relationship, but during the conversation period of it, we had talked about what we kind of wanted in the future. Okay, so we ruled out kids and we ruled out some other stuff. One of the things that we brought up in the conversation was that he said he wanted to. He had just started his business where he did like gaming or something like that. And I said, well, I don't do that, but I'll support you on it, right? Because it's something that you want to do. Fine. In the conversation, I don't know how we got on this whole subject of who's taking care of who or who's working and who's not. But I know what happened. I said that if we decide to have children, or if I decide or whatever. I don't want to. I'd rather. I need to make a plan to be able to stay home for at least about 2 years because I don't want anyone else, like raising my newborn baby or taking care of the baby.
Mm-hmm.
His response to me was something I thought was very surprising, given that if I had become pregnant, he would have been the father, right? He said, "I'm not taking care of you." But I said, "Excuse me." he said, he said, "Well, I'll take care of you, but I don't want you to just sit at home and not work." And I said, "I'm talking about taking 2 years off so that I can take care of our baby, right? And this is not me being lazy and staying home while you." And so his response kind of sparked like before he even said that, mind you, what I said I would have to make plans, right? Had I not had that mindset of I need to make sure I have enough in my maternity leave, I have enough time, I have enough money saved up to be able to, make sure that everything is taken care of at home. When realistically, some women out here aren't thinking about that because they're thinking that's his responsibility, right? He's supposed to pay all the bills. I'm not thinking about that. You do have some men that are still in that mindset of, or not still, but who are in that mindset of, if I'm working, you work, you work. I don't want to take care of you. I'm like, I'm not asking you to take care of me, sweetie. And let me just say this: if you're my husband, I don't see a problem with you taking care of me.
Once it gets to the aspect of marriage, once it gets to the aspect of marriage, and I'm gonna just say this. First off, I'm gonna say I'm glad you're not with that dude no more, or if you even know him, then you know what I'm saying that's a bust.
No, I mean, no, we're friends, but no.
Okay,
it would never go that far.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. When it comes down to marriage, I do believe in the man being the provider. However, I also understand the scope of if the woman wants to work, then it's more so out of the necessity of being able to have two incomes because of the economy. That's it.
Right. Okay. But think about it like this for a second. I agree 100% about what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
But I have met, because I was dating at one point a lot. And men have expectations too. They want you to have this. They want you to have that, right?
But at the same time,
I understand that. Right.
I'm gonna just say this. This is where it gets convoluted because, in my personal opinion, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just say this. I do believe in gender roles. I do believe in gender roles, but I also believe in complementarity when it comes down to being able to understand where you can fit when it comes down to your specific role.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say instead of go ahead.
When it comes down to that, baseline levels, as far as your specific divine energy and how you use that energy, highlights how you are in your role. Right? I do believe men should be providers. I do believe when a woman becomes pregnant, y'all trying to build a household, okay. The burden in which, or the weight in which that man needs to provide, he got to do what he got to do. Where, in my personal opinion, as long as he's doing something that inevitably doesn't hurt himself or hurt whoever he's taking care of, then it's good to go. I'm not going to ask shit. You know what I'm saying? And I do believe in that. No one should be checked on how they provide if genuinely they're not hurting anybody. If they're not hurting anybody. It doesn't even fucking matter what the profession is. If they're not hurting anybody with their profession, okay, you making ends meet, good to go. No questions asked. Don't talk shit about how I'm getting my bread. That's my whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Nevertheless, the aspect in which it's so convoluted to where you legitimately have, this is what I believe, you legitimately have men having expectations that essentially a woman would say. That is weird to me. That's fucking weird. That a woman would typically say in the scope of hypergamy. That's
You got
fucking
some
weird to
here
me.
that have
I'm
you
not.
got some here that
Look,
that have it.
you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna put it like this. My dick ain't gonna go up if I can't, be able to provide for my woman. That's my whole thing.
I'm glad you said that because I think so, and this is where I and provide doesn't always mean financial, and I
It
think that that's
doesn't,
where a lot of people are. Yeah.
however, because of hypergamy, and we know women's nature to be able to have the best mate is to go for the one that is either of equal status or higher than her. That is what the
So
fuck
here's
hypergamy is.
right. So here's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that in the midst of dating and finding these men that wanted women to kind of match what they had, at the time, I did not. For the men I was dating, I did not have the same things they had, right? So I wasn't on their level or whatever you want, however you want to put that. So what I did, I took a break. I got myself where I felt comfortable, right? And wait, hold on. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
I
All right,
took
go
a
ahead.
break. I got myself to where I feel comfortable because the men I was meeting, we just didn't. It wouldn't work out because I didn't feel comfortable. So you do have that pool of women, at least at that time, who felt like, wait, I don't have my own. I don't have my own car. I don't have my own place. I don't make nearly as much money as he does. If that's what he wants, then I need to figure out how to how to figure it out. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Years later, I have everything that I need now. What is it that that's where a lot of women get caught. I'm telling you, listen, I'm telling you, that's where some, no, not all of them. Now you got some out here who feel like that they're entitled to all kinds of shit. Okay, just like she said in the video.
You have some out here who feel like they're entitled to certain shit because of the fact that they never gain certain shit or even understand the work it takes to gain said shit that probably the man that they're asking that shit of has to put the work in to get. They don't fucking get it. However, pause for effect. The mindset in which believing because of what a man is saying, which is in my personal opinion, I don't think any man should be saying this. In the scope of, well, you have to do the same shit that I'm doing. A man saying that shit is like, for me, beta ass fucking talk to me. That shit is beta as shit. Why the fuck are you saying as a fucking man? Why are you saying that your woman, the woman that you with, has to be on your level when in actuality, your level is what takes care of the both of y'all? The fuck is you talking about? The fuck is you talking about? You see what I'm saying? That's some bullshit to me. My whole thing is, why the fuck are you
And this
even
is the
going to be in a
conversation I don't think
mindset?
it's been talked about.
Why the fuck are you even going to be in a mindset of even wanting to take in a woman in any capacity when you ain't even got your shit baseline level together when it comes down to her being able to feed off of you? When it comes down to being able to know that everything is good, no matter what she does, when everything is good, when it comes down to your part, so foundationally, the foundation is good. There ain't no cracks in the foundation. Foundation is good to go. Good to go. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
I'm telling you.
However, I'm going to just say this also. My whole thing is, based on law of attraction, you need to stop attracting these beta niggas that, you know what I'm saying, that be asking you certain shit that in reference to.
No, it's not just me. I'm telling you. I think that's why a lot of women. Think about it. I think that's why a lot of women have. When did women in the past ever have any? Not saying that women didn't have motivation to go out and do shit for themselves. We always have motivation. But when did we really get it, right? Where we went out and started doing things for ourselves. Men wanted more. Men, like they wanted more from their mate, and I get that. I really do, but I think it backfired. I think it backfired.
It's a back and forth when it comes down to it. I want us to get back in these videos, but it's a back and forth when it comes down to that. This is a good conversation. It's a back and forth when it comes down to that. Because you wanted women to have rights when it came down to the past. But then when it came down to certain rights, there were also certain responsibilities when it came down to those rights. I'll give you one particular example. When it came down to the past in reference to women being able to vote, okay? Women being able to vote. It wasn't that, and this is one big fucking lie that's consistently being told in society that needs to fucking stop. All you motherfuckers out there that are a part of the feminist movement or have feminist ideologies or fucking feminist ideologues, all you motherfuckers out there that act this way, y'all fucking stupid when it comes down to saying this shit. It wasn't that women were completely disbarred from being able to vote. It was that when it came down to the responsibility of voting, it also came with the responsibility of getting drafted. And most women did not want to get fucking drafted. A lot of people don't even know that fact. They skip over that shit and they will just say, well, women, only have been able to vote for the past 100 years. Because of the fact that most of y'all motherfuckers didn't want to go to war. That's what came with. That's what came with the responsibility of voting. Getting drafted. But you also had, which also speaks to the reality of it, you also had men that didn't want their wives to vote anyway because they didn't want their wives to go to war. You know what I'm saying? They wanted their wives to be able to have children and be able to, groom the next generation to come. So it's convoluted when it comes down to certain shit that happened historically, but they don't speak on all of the nuances in reference to said thing. Nevertheless, I bring that up to also bring this point up. The details in which giving certain rights and taking certain rights for granted as if you are completely entitled to that particular thing, which ends up having or creating an imbalance when it comes down to the particular roles of the man and the woman in modern society. I do believe in complementarity, but I also do believe being unapologetically honest about what the fuck you actually can do and what the fuck you cannot do.
Oh, and that is what I think. That is what I think where the communication gap is. People are not willing to make themselves vulnerable and be honest and be transparent.
Most people are floating within life lying to one another. Most people are floating in life lying to one another and just on some autopilot shit of, just playing the blame game. And this is kind of a segue back into what the fuck she's saying. Playing the blame game, going to back and forth when it comes down to the gender wars, when it comes down to, battle of the sexes, when it comes down to battle of whatever particular ideologies that you fucking believe in, political ideologies that you fucking believe in, and it's just a back and forth when it comes down to the masses as far as the media being able to have different types of niches as far as consumers being able to delve into various products that reinforces trauma and reinforces toxicity. That's what the fuck. It's like this shit. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Not everybody is going to take the initiative to actually read into and think more into what the fuck they're thinking compared to what they're being fed. Not just based on tangible food, but also based on what the fuck you're reading, what the fuck you're around, what the fuck is being fed when it comes down to audio, what the fuck is being fed when it comes down to visual. Any types of propaganda that inevitably are trying to push your brain to be something what they want you to be, whoever the fuck they is, compared to what the fuck you need to be. Okay. The rant just happened. Let's get back into these videos. Oh yeah. One more thing, people out there. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Alright? We trying to get this content out there for you, okay? We also want you to hit that notification bell when it comes down to the videos after you subscribe to our channel, so you could be able to know when the next video is coming up and everything. We're going to try to put out more content for you. Alright. Back to Miss Rawls.
Especially out the side of your neck. I found that in a lot of intimate relationships, there's this pit-pat competition of who makes the most and who does this and who does that, when it should be a symbiotic relationship. Black men are so consumed with being dominant and being on top. For what?
I don't agree with that.
But she also sort of contradicted herself. In the beginning, she said that this person doesn't have the educational requirements, blah, 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 to talk to me. And then she goes into what she just said.
Black men.
So I'm like, wait a minute, which one is?
Here's my first off. Black men have never in this country just in the United States as a whole, been the oppressor of black women. Okay, like foundationally as the oppressor of black women. That's never happened. Y'all always have had y'all freedoms, and for that matter, I would even go as far as saying this: we both gained our freedoms at the same time when it came down to civil rights, at the same exact fucking time. So what the fuck is she talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I thought she said in intimate relationships.
okay, intimate relationships. Here's my thing. One of the things I'll say in reference to that is that oftentimes, because of how society is geared when it comes down to people not of us, we end up trying to adopt this dominant, submissive mentality on how to reinforce having relationships. It's not always about dominant, submissive. It can be about leader and supporter, especially when it comes down to what it's saying in the Bible, but it can also be about complementarity. However, you have a good amount of women, because of hypergamy, they want a man to lead, but you have a good amount of women that don't you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna say. You have a good amount of black women that don't understand and know how to let a man, black man, let alone lead, when they have been in a forced matriarchy for over 40 years that reinforces not being in good faith when it comes down to being in an established relationship with a man. So all men get X'd out. It's more so about the self, not necessarily about establishing a foundation. The earlier, the better, with a man, while still being able to get whatever credentials you want to get, whatever career you want to get, any of that shit. The balance between the two. You know? The balance between the two. It becomes, okay, well, I'm going to just go ahead and think about, singlehood. I'm going to think about my career. I'm going to think about, those things in reference to only focusing on me, because that's inevitably what it is. And then by the time I hit 30, that's when I'll start actually taking the idea of marriage seriously. When in actuality, the only community within the United States that does that more so on the front end is the black community. Whereas all other communities, at a larger percentage than us, more so, you have other races thinking about getting married earlier and younger than us. What's up? I know you got something in your mind. Go ahead. Go in.
No, I don't have anything on my mind.
Stop bullshitting that. Come on.
I don't have nothing on my mind. I just don't think that that's. I get that we as a people, as a community, as a race, we have to procreate. We have to. We have to. We're just going to die away. But I don't feel like, marriage is for everyone. Right. And I don't feel like relationships are for everyone. I don't feel like having children is for everyone, including married couples. I don't think that even if you're married means that you both are ready to be parents. And so that's all I was thinking. But I think you're right in terms of, other, ethnic groups and other communities and other races and other groups of people.
I'm gonna just say this.
But they're also not struggling with some of the same shit that we are. It's a lot of shit that we struggle with.
I'm not saying that they don't. What I am saying is we struggle with it more than they do. Because they've had collectivism.
Just like she just said, like, why does the man have to be dominant? Well, I don't believe in, I'm not going to say dominance. I think I am also more of like, a man is head of the household. He leads the family or whatever. I also, if you look at Spanish families, look at Hispanic families.
Yeah.
And you can look at white families, really. Now you may have the white women who may give some pushback and some and some lip service to the husband, but he's probably quietly leading. He's probably,
Right.
he's probably not more, unlike, the black man, of course, because he's not black, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there are other women and other groups of people or other races that know how, that understand what their position is. And I said this once before. I think that the black woman has gotten away from what her position is, but I don't think that, no, I shouldn't say that. I think that they have, I guess I'm in that group too, that we have redefined what our position should be in a relationship. And that's putting stress on relationships
Agreed.
within, I mean, that's what I think it is.
I I I
Just like she said. Yeah.
I agree. I agree with what you said. It's just
Mm.
for you know what I'll say this. It's just when it comes to the dynamic in which how it's more reinforced for you know what, I'll say it this way. It's more reinforced for the black woman to push the narrative in the black man accepting certain traits that are inherently masculine traits that the black woman would be attracted to in a black man, but then telling the black man to accept that when in actuality most black women, or for that matter women as a whole, date up. Date up. You're not going to accept, or you're going to do your best to not accept a man who is below you when it comes down to certain economic status, when it comes down to certain things, when it comes down to financially. You're just not, it's not conducive for you to. And I agree, women need to date up. I agree with that. However, oftentimes, the way in which they do it doesn't help with them being able to find a suitable mate that they can actually get married to.
Yeah, I've never really agreed with women dating up, and I know I'll get flack for that. And I'm not saying date down, ladies. I'm not saying don't date up. I'm saying leave your options open. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you might encounter somebody who's, maybe at on parking level 1 right now. Who knows where that person is gonna be if you give that person, especially if you have more to add. If you have more to add, it may be some things that maybe he doesn't know he's capable of doing, and that's where you compliment him best and build in the relationship. And then he soon learns what his full potential is. Now you're in a position years later where now he is up. So I just never believed in and that entirely. I just think that I don't know. I'm real simple. I just think find somebody who compliments you best. Okay.
And then
And
if she talks about being truly symbiotic in a symbiotic relationship, right? And
yeah.
it's difficult to happen when the the aspect in which hypergamy more so dominates, when you have women out there that normally, because of their nature, don't respect a man fully, that they believe is below them when it comes down to economic status.
She said that in the beginning when she said that you don't have the educational credentials
That's
to
what I'm
to
saying.
talk to me. You've already set your boundaries,
You
whether you think
already
they're good or not.
and that's what I'm saying. Inevitably,
Yeah.
the nature. I'll say it like this: the nature of women. The nature of women is to be hypergamous. Not saying that they cannot get out of that. What I am saying is, naturally for them, they need to respect their man. They have a need to do it. If they are considered in society better in economic status than their man would be considered, they're going to feel a certain type of way. They're going to feel like
Yeah.
they're more in the leadership role. You know?
Yeah.
And it more so now is going to be a reinforcing of a negative power dynamic. But let's continue on with the rest of this video and then move on.
At the cost of dimming your bitch's shine. I was in a relationship with someone who said they no longer respected me the moment I started making more than them. Thirsty behavior.
Okay, the whole aspect of, here's my thing. It's a back and forth between, you have men who do get intimidated by women who do make more than them. But then also in turn, you have women who will underline disrespect a man because she makes more than him. So, yeah, my thing is, that's like tit for tat. It's tit for tat stuff, in my personal opinion. Let's get to this next video here. Oh boy. Okay. 13 seconds.
Please help me understand how y'all want bitches to submit to you but don't do none of the work that's required for bitches to submit to you. Like y'all think bitches just supposed to fold off the strength of y'all being a man? Please riddle me that one.
Let me just say this. I think, you know what I think? Why does this feel like I just got out of a bad relationship and now I'm going to go ahead and project all of my frustration and pain on everybody? Why does this feel like that?
It might be that, but I think that she is addressing some things that some women may be encountering in their current relationships now, but not saying it. And now you've got her coming out after she just got out of a bad relationship, maybe, that's spilling it all out. And so you've got those women who are in those current relationships going, yeah, girl, that's what I'm talking about. So I don't think it's not, yeah. I mean, that's what I think, because I mean, I've been there before. So that's how I can, that's why I can relate to what she's saying. But I don't think that applies to all men, or all black men. I just think that just applied to my shitty relationship, or was even a relationship, even in the dating phase.
Yeah.
It depends on who you're coming in contact with, or who you're, who you're inviting into your space.
Yeah, okay. Let's go on to the next video so we get these videos done. All right, this one is 58 seconds.
So yesterday on Twitter, I went viral because a bunch of men got butthurt for me telling them to better themselves. They were mad because I called them dusty bitches and wanted them to be accountable for their fuck shit behavior, but like, go off, king. Be shitty. That's fine with me. Like, I was dead ass like, hey, go talk about the shit that hurts you and plagues you and has traumatized you. So you can basically learn the emotional vocabulary required to express yourself to make your life easier. And they were like, fuck this bitch! Poor unhealed sons. Now, I know a lot of y'all think the only socially acceptable response to things that you don't like is anger. But I'm here to tell you, when you go to therapy, you learn a variety of other emotions. And when you learn to communicate those things, your life gets easier. But instead of being accountable, you want to displace your hatred for your father on me. Go talk to somebody about why that is, King.
That's really specific. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to be hatred for the father. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think that all guys who have like a emotional disconnect or can't express themselves emotionally naturally had. I mean, the cause of it is due to them having some type of, issue with their father, the trauma from the
dad. I mean, it could be a bad relationship with the moms. You know what I'm saying? It could be that. It could be bad relationship with any parental guardian. It could be granddad, grandmama. You know what I'm saying? Because you do have that. You have grandmas. Taking care of the grandkids. So I mean, it's like it's just really specific to me. It's really specific. Where I'm like, it feels like she's talking about someone specifically. That's what it feels like, to me, based on what she's saying.
She might be.
But it's like she ain't going to disclose who the fuck that is, But let's go on to the next video. All right, second to last video. Now this video is 6 minutes 2 seconds. All right.
Oh,
All right. Now the caption of the video, it says, "Ode to Black Men: An Apology and Plea, Part 1."
oh my God.
All right, let's go in.
Hello, I would like to make a video addressing my recent video calling for men to go to therapy. Now, I will say that firstly, I would like to apologize for the colorful language that I used, but I want to express where I'm coming from. So, as a clinician, my job is not to make people change. My job is to plant seeds and help my clients water the soil and cultivate it so they have a thriving environment to grow. That is my job. Now, from a human standpoint, I entered this field because I saw a dire need for Black mental health and Black mental health professionals, because I was not always met with support. So I
agree with that.
Okay.
You know, they're just being real about it, especially when it comes down to history of psychology and psychiatry in the world, let alone the United States. You know, it's been overwhelmingly more of ones not of us than ones of us within the profession. You know, so
yeah.
I agree with being able to have more of us, because, you know, I guess I'm on the side of, I think it's healthy to get therapy. You know what I'm saying? When you know you need it. You know you need it. And oftentimes, I just do not believe there are many opportunities out there to have Black people be able to see Black clinicians, because the percentage of being able to see one is, I think, within the 14%. 14% of clinicians,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard.
In the United States are of us. And that's very
Yeah.
low. Because they normally, let's be real about it, in the Black community, mental health is not really talked about. Not really. You know?
Oh no, it's definitely on like a hush hush thing, like, you know, and some of it is to see a therapist or to try to resolve your mental issues in the Black community. It's kind of shunned upon. It's kind of like, oh, you're going to a therapist. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not something that's publicly talked about, or that's something that you would say, yeah, I see a therapist, and you can have a mature conversation with someone about. It's very much like, oh, I can't tell them I'm seeing a therapist. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like I can't say that out loud.
I think
sort of.
I think the reason why that often gets reinforced, as far as, you know, us shunning or having, you know, somewhat of a disdain for, you know, family members going to see someone, is because it was never really a thing that was reinforced or considered healthy. Because we, in the United States, especially when it comes down to history, there was never no reform plan or mental health plan with, you know, getting out of slavery and on. And then you also had other aspects that reinforced trauma after, you know, the Emancipation Proclamation was written. So it was just, there was never a thing of us actually having some mental health professionals to help us. It was just a thing of us finding coping mechanisms to be able to actually understand how to make light of things, or I would even go as far as saying this, pretending certain things just don't exist. And I just believe that's just bad for us as a whole. But I do believe people should make a choice on whether or not going to see someone is good, you know, for them. So
Yeah.
But let me go ahead with the video.
I apologize to individuals if you felt like my language was colorful, but I want you to know more deeply where I come from. A few people have called into question my blackness, which is to be expected. My personhood is questioned quite often. I chose to go into mental health because only 4% of clinicians are black, yet there's 13.
I thought it was 14. My bad. That was years ago that I thought it was 14. Nevertheless, 4% then. Damn. All right.
15% of black individuals in America. So there's already a huge disparity. And I have made it my life's work to help fill that gap. Now, where my frustration comes in is I called for individuals to do better, but then my job got doxxed. I understand that people may not agree with my delivery or the things that I'm saying, but a major boundary has been crossed. I'm so passionate in my words because I'm tired of seeing men suffer. I'm tired of seeing you guys endure so much hurt and so much trauma and refusing to do anything about it when you guys have the power to do it. As a clinician, my job is to motivate and empower, and it came across angry and aggressive because as a black woman, I'm also tired of being hurt.
Okay, now I gotta say this. It didn't necessarily only come across as angry and aggressive. It was angry and aggressive. Like,
This one here?
no, what she was saying about her previous videos, when it came down to her,
Oh, her previous one.
it was angry and aggressive. Like, I don't believe, I think it's, she's trying to hold herself accountable, which I like this. I appreciate this. However, I believe she needs to have more definite words and definite speech on really solidifying the accountability piece. You know?
I think she is trying to make herself accountable, but not necessarily apologizing for what she said.
Right. Okay.
She's more so like, I said it. I don't apologize for what I said, but I apologize for how it came across.
See, that's the thing. It's just like,
you know what I mean. So that's how I got it. I mean that's how I took it. In some ways, I don't feel like she owes people an apology for what she said. Now, if she owe people an apology for her delivery, like I said, yeah, it was whack. But some people, but I mean, for some people, they just took it and they were like, okay, fine. And other people, especially again because she is a clinician, because she is a therapist, you can't be talking like that. You can't be calling women bitches. You can't be, you know what I mean? I'm like, come on. You're sitting up here telling men how to communicate with women, but yet you are addressing women, black women, as bitches. Come on now. You can't. I don't understand.
She was calling both men, and she was calling women bitches, but she was calling men dusty bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, it was just like she was,
it was really confusing.
The whole field.
I could put a comment and say, so which one is the dusty bitch and which one is the bitch? Because I'm confused. I was like, wait, are the men bitches too?
All right, let's continue on with the video.
I'm tired of being hurt by the very entity that I love the most, which is the black man. I have made it my life's work, dedicated myself to encouraging and uplifting black people, especially the black man. But my words came across very, very spicy because you guys are dying. Whether it be gun violence, whether it be you guys killing each other.
Okay.
Sit.
All right. So, okay. Now, all of us are dying. All of us are dying.
But I don't think that has anything to do with what she was talking about. Look,
right.
It's moments like this where I'm like, come on, I don't understand.
Like, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Now.
It's like, okay, you triple down. Now you like trying to go back up. You know what I'm saying? it's just like, okay, but you come on now. You know, like, could you have controlled your emotions a little bit better? Yeah, you could have, but you didn't want to. You didn't want to. You were irresponsible with your emotions. You were irresponsible with them. I'm gonna just say that. I believe now, mind you, that's not to say that I do not believe a woman should not express her emotions. It's not necessarily you expressing them. It's how you express them, how you do it. You know.
Yeah.
But let's finish the video.
Whether it be you guys killing yourselves, because you endure a lot. And I see that because I am your other half. I am your partner. I am your equal. I am not your enemy. Despite the words that I used, I want you guys to understand that my message is clear.
I'm going to just say this. I'm very careful when it comes down to using the word equal compared to using the word compliment. Because I do believe men and women, especially black men and black women, are different, and we don't acknowledge those differences because we feel like the acknowledgement of those differences, especially in the scope of biology, will come across as hate speech, and we already know why that is. But let's continue.
You have to grow. You have to move and shift as a person. But sometimes you cannot do that shit alone. Men depression rates are skyrocketing. Men's suicide rates are skyrocketing. I'm not making these statistics, I'm just drawing light on this topic. Forgive me if I seem passionate in my words. I'm only passionate because I'm tired of seeing black men die. I cannot articulate the feeling of the perpetual trauma that I have experienced, that black men have experienced, that I am beyond tired of seeing. I have children who cry in session because they wonder why their dads didn't show up to their birthday. I have teenagers who don't feel important because they didn't have someone to tell them that they love them. They didn't have that strong male support to make them feel like they're okay. And I'm only coming from a place because I didn't have that. I love nothing more.
Okay, let me pause real quick. Boy. All right. You know what? Let's just continue. I'm not gonna say it right now. I'll say it later.
I feel like everything she's saying right now, she probably could have said that instead of going on the rant about the black man. I mean, what she's saying right now to me doesn't make any sense in comparison to what she's talking about.
You're trailing back. You're trailing back on your triple down. You're trailing back on your. That's really what I wanted to say. You're trailing back on your triple. You triple down on insults, shame, reinforcing guilt. Like you, ooh, and now it's like I can't help but to think this. This is a form of trying to gain sympathy with your tears.
I don't know. I just feel like it's no relation to what she originally discussed. It's not. It's not. I don't understand how we got from working on black men's emotional, vocabulary and intelligence to now we're losing black men to gun violence, and I don't see where the relation is.
Yeah.
Unless she's trying to, I guess, I just don't see what the relation is unless she's saying that if you go to therapy and learn how to deal with your emotions, then you can have, long, healthy, intimate or, wromantic, whatever relationships with who you're with, and that'll keep you away from gun violence and that'll keep you out of trouble. Besides that, I don't know how this relates to what she originally stated, what she originally talked about. That's what I'm struggling with right now. I feel like we're talking about a whole new different video.
Yeah, it's geared now. Yeah,
Well, this is an example of unstable emotions. Right now, they're not stable. She doesn't have a job. She's sorry for how she said things, but not necessarily apologetic for what she said. While I get it, but I feel like you gotta go back and listen to what you said the first time, and then come back and respond. Because I'm a little lost on what we're talking about right now.
Let's continue so she can. Yeah, all right.
The black man prosper, but you're not. You're not, and it's hurting me. So I apologize for saying y'all are dusty. I apologize for that, but my message is clear. Y'all are hurting, and you desperately need to talk to someone. As a black woman, I see you. I have been there for you. I have dedicated my life to listening so you can heal the generational trauma that has been inflicted upon you since our arrival in this country. The black family has been systematically dismantled, and you're only upholding the dismantlement by not fixing yourself. I may have projected some of my personal feelings. I understand that.
May is a strong word. You did.
Sit.
It wasn't no May. It wasn't no May. Come on, Ms. Rawls. Come on.
Sit.
A human being, but I'm only projecting from a place of hurt. Some of the deepest, darkest things I've experienced have been perpetrated against me by black men. But I see the charge coming from a hurt place.
Alright, last video. And this one is 3 minutes. Half the time. Alright, let's get into it.
Hey guys. Firstly, I want to say thank you guys so much for...
Hold on real quick. It says... somebody made a comment, says, how can we support you? I second everything that you are saying. I don't know if that's a guy or a woman. I don't know. All right. So that's what the comment says, the caption of the video. But
the overwhelming support.
Is that for the therapist?
Yeah. So this is the last video for the therapist. She's in a car right now. She's the caption of the video, it has a comment by somebody called Big Bro Bear.
Okay. And he's asking how can we support her?
Yeah, how can we support you? I second everything that you are saying. So now let's get into it.
In all of this, but I want to just hit a couple points really quick to just help you guys understand better what's going on. So long story short, I posted some stuff on Monday. Was literally fired on Friday, telling people to go to therapy. And a lot of people got upset and attempted to hurt me, but I want you guys to understand that you didn't just hurt me. Yeah, I may have lost my employment, but all of the clients that I've had, that I've spent 5 years with establishing therapeutic rapport, now no longer have a therapist. The people that I was serving have very severe mental disorders. Severe abandonment issues. Some of them don't even have parents. Some of them have just recently come down, and I was helping them process cancer diagnoses. So while you guys did this shit for clicks and views, my clients lost a support system. I have worked with these people for years, and now they don't have anyone. I don't know what I would do if my therapist was just axed immediately with no warning. So a lot of you guys who have reported me to my employer, whatever, have done irreparable damage, and I need you to sit with that. The doxing has not stopped. I had to change my phone number because someone, under the guise of wanting to protect me, tried to ambush me in a YouTube live, and it's terrifying. as a woman, getting random text messages, that shit's fucking terrifying. So not only do my boundaries continuously keep being violated, my clients, their treatment has stopped. This comment says, how can we support? I've been putting out mental health content for about 1.5 years and haven't received a fucking dime because your guys' healing is so much more fucking important to me. If you feel like giving, here's my fucking Cash App. But honestly, how you can support is never shutting the fuck up. It's true allyship. True allyship stands up in the face of fucking adversity. If somebody is being sprayed by the fucking water hose, ask yourself on what part of the scenario are you at? Are you the one being attacked? Are you the one being sprayed? Are you the one spraying the person upholding these supremacy ideas? Are you the one standing on the sidewalk lines looking at people get sprayed? Are you the one telling the person to turn the fucking hose off? That's how y'all can support. This does not just affect me. Think about your choices, guys. This shit's fucking ridiculous. You can support by supporting the unprotected.
Okay. I don't know. I have no words. Because this went from A to Z really fast. And now I feel like we're talking about a totally different, like, racial related issue. And we were in the sense of black, you know, what black men, what she felt black men needed to do. But now she's talking about people, you know, as a whole. I don't know. I mean, I feel for her because she did lose her job, but I do think that I mean, I wouldn't wish that anyone loses their job because I really
don't wish anyone lose their job, but my whole thing is you have to understand the reality of being held accountable when you're not responsible with your power.
Here's the thing, reality is that the clients she had did not lose a therapist, they lost her as a therapist through whatever firm or practice she practiced in, right? They're gonna be, I mean, they'll find a new therapist.
They should be good. They should be good.
But she can also, I'm telling you, y'all gonna see her on Steve Harvey or Tamron or something like that. She will probably go viral enough where she'll have some sponsors or some supporters and she'll be able to open her own practice. And then what are you gonna do then? You see what I'm saying?
So this is why I was laughing.
It's going to be called Fuck Nigga Free PLLC.
Oh, shit. Hey, yo. Hey.
I got to stop. That's not funny. I got to stop.
Hey, yo.
That's what it's going to be called.
This is why I was laughing. Like, I was laughing because it was like when she ended up saying her Cash App, I could not hold it back. I could not hold it back because my whole thing is like,
I felt like she didn't have to. First of all, people are going to give you money. They're going to give it out of the kindness of their heart. Don't don't put it out there like, well, here's my fucking Cash App. Who are you talking to, lady? Who the fuck are you? I won't say nothing. You're the one unemployed, bitch. I mean, that's my thing. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, I want to be for her, but then you turn around and you're like, wait, there's so much wrong in this situation. You don't know what's going on. It's like a balance. It's not a good balance. It's just like, I agree with some of the shit, then turn around and some of the shit I really just don't agree with. I just think that she needs to listen. I can't.
All right.
With the whole Cash App comment, I was like, oh, these people are actually coming in your comment section and saying, look, I agree with what you're saying. I want to support you. How can I do that? And for your response to be, look, here's my fucking Cash App. Now, she did say other stuff, which I agree with. But the other stuff had nothing to do with. She's talking about the Black riots and stuff. She's talking about turning on the water hose. And I don't know what is going on right now.
I think she was trying to. Not
the Black riots. I'm sorry.
What I think she was trying to do was, use historical context to reinforce and reiterate the need for black men to see therapy because, like I was talking about before, when it came down to the pathology of how we have never, had like a reform plan in reference to us actually going to mental health and seeing it as important. That's never happened. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like I kind of get that, but then it's just I don't know. It just seems like she tripled down and she just retract, like completely retract, but still was not trying to apologize. It's just really weird. It's just really weird to me. But oh boy, this I think this is all we got for this episode. Like
I ain't got no more else. I ain't got no more else steam for this episode.
yeah,
I mean, I think it was a good episode. I think it was good to discuss it, and I think a lot of other people. I mean, people have already started other podcasts, and other people have started. She has gone viral.
yeah.
I'm gonna wait for F and F to come about.
Okay. I uh yeah. I don't. I'm gonna just put it like this. Well, this will be my last word. Clinicians see therapists for a reason. Clinicians see therapists for a reason. Everything that just happened is one of the reasons why clinicians need to see therapists. Like a therapist needs to see a therapist to be able to even themselves out when it comes down to giving other people therapy. You know, I believe something happened. I believe something happened with her that was so deep that happened probably within the past week to where she just didn't know how to bounce back from that specifically. And
I think that she's sorry, go ahead.
And she was just irresponsible with her words. She was irresponsible with her words. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I think that while she may have gone through something personally, I like I said in the beginning, I do agree with what she said. And I think that she mentioned in one of the videos I watched that that to shut down, for a person to shut down, is no longer being tolerated. She didn't say that specifically, but she's basically saying that women are not accepting the whole shutdown thing of not communicating and not, being emotionally.
But that's not.
I don't like to say emotionally intelligent. And here's why. I don't think that men are not emotionally intelligent. I just think that they just, that some of them, and not all of them, that the ones who do have challenges expressing themselves emotionally, then, I don't think that they're not intelligent. I just think that they just don't do it for whatever reason.
I'm gonna put this point out there. In my personal opinion, I believe men and women communicate differently. But then also, I believe when it comes
they
down,
do.
when it comes down to their levels of communication, the same way men treat their emotions is the same way women treat sex. They have a certain level of sanctity toward it, where, and this kind of back and forth because modern era, there are a lot of people having sex, people cheating, almost at the same rate, but the way women are taught, more so in society, they're taught to not give it up to everybody, right? They're taught that. But then also in turn, that's how men see their emotions because they don't know if their emotions are going to be used against them out of malicious intent if they do something wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean, because they want to avoid toxicity, so avoidance is probably the best way. If I don't put this out there, then we don't have to argue, and I don't have to worry about her disagreeing with what I'm saying or being judged for what I really feel. It just kind of it kind of get. I mean, that's just what it does. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, another episode down. Reroll Exchange Podcast. Y'all take it easy. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.